Hello, this is Eric Merritt from Eric Merritt Sells AZ Real Estate, realtor of Homespun in Northeast Mesa. This is the third Central Phoenix market update video that is going to include the towns of Laveen, Phoenix, Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, Fountain Hills, Cave Creek, Carefree. So this video is going to talk about what's happened in each of these cities data-wise as far as average sales price, number of homes sold, sales price to list price ratio, the monthly inventory absorption rate. And then we're going to go into the highs and lows of each of these so that you can see what they look like, the square footage of them, what they sold for, how many days on market, sales price to list price ratio, so forth. The third part is going to be showing you the price ranges and types of homes, like for condominiums and townhomes, even mobile homes from 150 to 300, which doesn't really apply too much to this one, but condos and townhomes definitely do apply to this video, to this market, from 250 to 500,000. And then we're going to do 500,000 to 750, 750 to a million. Single family homes from 250,000 all the way up to 5 million and above. So you'll see all these different price ranges, what their sales price to list price ratios were, and then you'll see how they were paid. Cash, conventional, VA, and FHA. You're going to see how few were paid for with an FHA loan. Single family, 250 to 350. Like 200,000 to 350, and then 350 to 500,000, something like that. And then the condominiums and townhomes, same thing. So if you're a buyer and you want to buy something as a first-time home buyer, you better get a conventional loan. You're going to see how few were accepted FHA. And then the last part is going to be comparing some of the Central Valley cities, Central Phoenix cities, compared to a year ago, and you will see the appreciation rates for them. Phoenix, Scottsdale, and Laveen is what I have here for that. So without further ado, if you find this video interesting and informative, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and share this video with your friends or anyone that you know, anyone that you may know that wants to move into the Central Phoenix corridor of the whole valley, up in Scottsdale or Carefree, Cave Creek, or Laveen, what have you. So if you find it interesting, go ahead and do that, and we will get this video started. Thank you. Hello, this is our Central Phoenix market update. So this part is about the same towns that I said before: Carefree, Cave Creek, Fountain Hills, Laveen, Paradise Valley, Phoenix, and Scottsdale. So we're going to go into each of these cities and show you what's happened. Carefree had 13 less transactions than in May, sold 10 homes, was 98% sales price to list price ratio. 2.60 was the monthly supply of inventory from 1.17, so it doubled. The highest sold was $2 million, lowest sold was $425, average sales price $1,144,065. 26 were active on July 11th versus 27 on June 8th. And we're going to go into that part later too. Cave Creek had 101 that sold, 22 more than the previous month, at 100.9% sales price to list price ratio. Highest sold $2,300,000, lowest was $280,000. Average sales price $833,284. The inventory rate actually decreased from 0.99 to 0.54, so that was interesting. Most cities have increased in monthly supply of inventory. Fountain Hills had 31 less transactions in June than in May at 88, 31 days on market, 99.9%, very strong for that price range. SP to LP ratio. 1.04 was the monthly rate of supply versus 0.65 in May, so that jumped up quite a bit. Highest sold was $2,599,000, lowest was $211,500. Average sales price sits $90,502. 92 were active on July 11th. Laveen, 65 homes sold, 3 less than in May. 68 sold in May. Average days on market 24, 104.1%, because it's in the bread and butter price point, this average sales price is 408,582 versus Santan Valley 420,402. Only $12,000 difference there. Monthly supply went up from 0.48 to 0.58, only a tenth. Highest sold was 654,104. Lowest sold was 291. And then I already said the average sales price. Paradise Valley, 74 homes sold, the same amount that sold in May. 97.7 SP to LP ratio. And actually, the monthly supply inventory pretty much stayed the same, from 1.78 to 1.84 in July. The highest sold was 12,100,000. Like to see that house in the highs and lows. Lowest sold was 200,000, and the average sales price in PV Paradise Valley was $3,037,549. 130 sets were active on July 11th versus 132 on June 8th. Phoenix 2305 sold 220 more than the previous month in May at 101.7% sales price to list price ratio. It went from 0.49 to 0.60. Highest sold in Phoenix was 5,485,306 versus 25,000 lowest. Average sales price in all of Phoenix was 450,411. 1,383 were active on July 11th. Scottsdale, 973 homes sold, 42 less than the previous month. So the previous month, 1,015 were sold, 99.9 sales price to list price ratio, very strong for a luxury market, at 99.9%. Highest sold was $12 million, within 100,000 of the one in PV that sold. Lowest was $40,000. The average sales price in Scottsdale was $936, $567, and the inventory, this should be yellow, went from 0.69 to 0.79. That's only a tenth. It's only 3 days more. So not too much of a difference there. Now we're going to go into the highs and lows. This is the one in Carefree that sold for $2 million at 111.1% of list price. The lowest that sold in Carefree looks like it was a townhome here at 425, 34 days of market, 100% of list price. Cave Creek, it was 2,300,000, 173 days, 79.3% of list price. Lowest in Cave Creek was 280, 30 days of market, 100% of list price. Fountain Hills, highest that sold was just under 2.6 million, 2,599,000, 24 days, 96.3% of list price. And then this is a condo that sold in Fountain Hills, which they usually are the lowest, 211,500,000, 14 days at full 100% list. And this is the one in Laveen. It was a new build. And this is the lowest that sold in Laveen, 291,000, 28 days, 97% of list. This is there's only one picture that was available on my website. It sold for $12,100,000. It was only on the market for a day, 100%. So it probably was pre-sold before it went in the MLS. Lowest it sold was a condo at 200,000, 17 days, 100% of list price. If you would like, Phoenix, this is the highest it sold. Looks like it was a new build. 5,485,306 in only 3 days. This mobile home was the lowest that sold in Phoenix, 25,000, 27 days, 83.3%. Scottsdale, this is the home that sold the highest in Scottsdale at $12 million, 46 days, 92.3% of list price. And then the lowest that sold in Scottsdale was a mobile home at $40,000. So if you want to have access to all these pictures and more listing subscription data, then please enter this link into a separate window and you will be able to open all of these. I did test it myself, so it will work. Just copy this link into a separate window and you'll have access to all of these. It will go onto a page on my website that's the content page. Click onto that and then this will show up. So that concludes the highs and lows. This is the Biltmore Hotel Resort. This is our first commercial break. It was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright and his architecture. Has a very nice historic lobby. and very nice restaurants. Lots of weddings are done here as well, as you can see. And the pool is magnificent. Make it a great staycation here. You'll enjoy it. Now, this is the type of homes in June 21, the transactions. Mobile homes from 150 to 300. Even them are still selling at 100% of list price. 182 were sold, and out of those 182, 108 were sold between cash and conventional. Only 39 out of 182 were sold FHA. So that's just over 20%. And out of the 39 that were sold FHA, only 6 had seller concessions. Condos and townhomes, okay, 150 to 300,000. I couldn't remember the range that I had said before. So from 150 to 300,000, 688 sold, and 302 are active. So that means that's pretty low. Monthly inventory supply only 0.36. 457 were sold conventional, 188 cash, and only 52 were sold FHA. So that is less than 10% were sold FHA. So that's why I'm saying you need to get a conventional loan if you're a first-time home buyer. Condos and townhomes, 300 to 500,000. Average sales price there is 380,700. 101.4% SP to LP ratio. 467 were sold. 414 were sold between cash and conventional, and only 7 were sold FHA. And then there's condos, 500,000 to $1 million. I'm going to skip that part. Single family homes, 250 to 350. This is the most hot segment price wise in the whole Phoenix area, which it usually is, at 104.5% sales price to list price ratio. 2,246 were sold in this category, and nearly 1,600, just over 1,600 homes were sold between cash and conventional. Only 349 were sold FHA. So that is less than 20%. That's like 15%, really. And out of the 349 that were sold FHA, 43 had seller concessions. So take that. I mean, that's what, 15%? And then you take 15% of that, and then just over like maybe 12, 13%. So you need to be a conventional buyer. That's all there is to it, at least conventional and cash. And this is going to be required on all buyer consultations so that everyone knows in their price range what to expect. How many are conventional, how many are cash, how many are FHA. If you were between 150 and 400,000, that's where the FHA price categories are. Single family homes from 500 to 750, it was 102.3%. 1,573 were closed, and the number active was 1,347. So it's getting close to a month's supply in this category. 1,107 were sold conventional, 264 were cash, and 91 were sold to VA. Single family, $1 million to $2 million, 99.3% sales price to list price ratio. 400 were closed. Out of the 400, 522 are active, so that's 1.3 months of supply in this category. 219 were conventional, 114 were cash, and 5 were VA. And then we go to $3 to $5 million. 96.5% is the lowest sales price to list price ratio in all price segments in all the Phoenix metro area. 61 of these homes sold. There are 160 active. So that's a 2.62 months of supply there. 26 were sold cash and 21 were conventional. 5 million and up, average sales price $7,781,742, 96.7% SP to LP ratio. 16 were sold. Out of the 16, 2 were sold conventional and 10 were sold cash. So I think that's pretty good information to know. Now we're going to go into, this is a new part that I've incorporated. You can tell in these luxury areas like Scottsdale, the inventory only went up 9.7%, 704 June 9th, and 772 on July 11th. Paradise Valley only went up by 4. As you can see with the bread and butter cities like Avondale, Buckeye, Casa Grande, Chandler, Gilbert, Glendale, well, Glendale's well, not too much of an inception, but Goodyear, Peoria. You will see that these cities, and Chandler has the highest increase in number of actives at 81%. Most of these cities have between a 50 to 80% increase in actives from from June, from last month. So we still don't have enough to have a full month supply, because you would have to have just as many actives as the number of ones that sold. And we're not quite there yet. So this is an ongoing trend. It's going to be easier for buyers to buy. It's still going to be very competitive, but at least it'll be a little bit easier to buy because there'll be a little bit more inventory. The demand is coming down, as you will see in the Cromford report next. So our second commercial break. This is at the Westin and Kierland Commons. We did a staycation here at the end of June of 2019. It's a very beautiful place. It has a river that you can go down on the tube, and then there's a surfing station. So if you want to get some good surfing action here, you can listen to this video. You did a pretty good job at it. So it's a very nice place. It is a little expensive. It's about $600 for 2 nights, but it's well worth it if you need to get out of the house. Synopsis for July 2021. So this shows the inventory. On October 18th, we had 8828 active, and we sold 10,027. Then, like I've said before, we had a tsunami of buyers come in January from California, Oregon, Washington, wherever, and we had 5385 active, 10,022 sold. Then February, March, April, and May, we were down below 5,000 units active. Last month on June 14th, we had 5582 active. July 13th, we had 6,044. And today we had around 6,700. So we'll see how many of those actives become under contract or pending. And still, if we stay over 6,000, which I'm sure we will, because that's what happened last week. We sold 10,187 last month in June. And because we sold a little bit more, 500 more units than we did the previous month, and our inventory did go up. So our monthly supply rate is staying pretty much the same, 0.59 versus 0.58. So, but the inventory rate, I do expect to go up to a month's supply, maybe in about 3 to 4 months is what I'm predicting. This is a Cromford market report. This shows all cities were in red as far as the demand that the Cromford market report goes by. The only city that actually had an increase in slight demand was Cave Creek at only 2%, but Scottsdale had a 15% decrease in demand, and Phoenix had a 13% decrease in demand. Fountain Hills had a 25% decrease in demand. So that shows you that. And then this is the Central Phoenix corridor. As far as this is the number of transactions from comparing June to the previous month in May. Laveen only had 4.4% less, three less transactions. Paradise Valley was exactly the same, had the same amount, so no change at all, zero change. Phoenix had 220 more more transactions that sold, 10.6% from the previous month. Scottsdale went down only 4.1%, 42 less transactions sold. Now pay close attention to this. Paradise Valley average sales price was $3,337,549. In June of 2020, it was only $1,878,000. Like I say, only like it's not much money, it is. $1,878,246. That's 61.7% increase in appreciation in 1 year. Scottsdale was very strong also at 46.3%. Going from $640,048 in June of 2020 to $936,567 of last month, June 2021. So you can see what the average sales price was in 2007 was Scottsdale's peak. So you can see how much higher it was. It's about, 50% higher almost. So that is the synopsis there. And that concludes our Central Phoenix Corridor Market Update video. If you find this video interesting and informative, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and share this video with your friends or anyone that you know that may want to move into the Central Phoenix corridor. This is a good market to understand. Good for buyers coming in from out of state to understand what to expect in these different price ranges, what to pay in sales price to list price ratio. So you can see what's going on in all types of homes, from mobile homes, condos and townhomes, single family homes, from $250,000 to $5 million and above. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope you have a very pleasant month. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to give me a call also at 480-999-6061. Thank you very much.